Dear friends, I made videos about heat recovery units and variable speed drivers, what they use for, how they work, controls, philosophy and control strategy, SCADA systems, wiring methods for control, air handling units and air control strategy. Today I would like to talk only about boilers. Some boilers, not all the boilers, because there are many types of boilers. So today I'm going to cover some aspects only. To heat our premises we need boilers, but then we also need either fan coil units or radiators to transfer the heat into the premises. So let's talk today about boilers only, and then we'll go further. We all know that the air in contact with the hot surface will increase its temperature. So that's why we use radiators or fan coil units to blow the air through a heat exchanger so the air will increase its temperature. If you respect the law of physics, you'll never be scared of a boiler. What you'll see here, it is a boiler. And I didn't make these conventional pipes. I will show you later how they're supposed to be. So a boiler have only one duty: to heat the heating agent, to heat the water. And then the water will be circulated by a pump to the system, but the water will be directed by diverters, three-way valve, etc. And I'll show you more in detail how the boiler is working. This boiler, it is used to heat 3 heat exchangers, and also it is equipped with a plate heat exchanger, as you'll see on the right hand side down, that will indirectly heat the domestic water. This is a buffer that have the capability to store energy. At this point you will see the water circulates only through those 3 heat exchangers, because we have a three-way valve, if you'll see on the left hand side on the top, which diverts the water only towards these 3 heat exchangers. When we talk about boilers, we know before the flame to be initiated, the boiler must be healthy. The pump should run, but first we have to make sure we have pressure into the system, if the system it is unvented. Now the pump is running, as you will see. The two-way valve diverts the flow towards the 3 heat exchangers. Now the thermostat demands heating, and you will see the burner just start the fire. You will see some little red dots pulsing. Once the heating has been initiated, the water into the installation start to heat up. We probably all know that we have a thermostat that controls the heating, and we have an overheating thermostat. In case the heating agent will overheat, the system will be turned off, and that type of fault will be latched. What you will see here now, it is the heating agent which is heating up. You will see the color is changed now onto the heating agent and onto this boiler heat exchanger. What you will see inside the boilers with the orange color, that's the heat exchanger, and the little dots represents the fire, the flame which hit the boiler. And if you will follow now the heating agent line, you will observe that the heating agent is going hotter into the radiator and it comes out cooler. The difference between the flow and the return, it is exactly the temperature that has been exchanged with the air. That gives us heat. That helps us to heat our premises. If the installation it is well calculated, you don't have blockages or you don't have any other malfunctions, the heating agent will reach the set point and your radiators will heat the premises. So this is very important thing to know. The boilers have a thermostat which controls the heating agent temperature, but also the room have a thermostat which controls the air temperature. So as long as the room thermostat will be on demand, the boiler will run to keep the agent heated at a specific temperature. The boiler thermostat do not care about the rooms. It only take care of the heating agent temperature. Remember this. This unit has the capability to heat the room, but in the same time it can heat the domestic hot water. And you will see the main pump on the left hand side on the top circulating the heating agent, which is heated by the boiler's heat exchangers, while on the right hand side to the lower side you will have a plate heat exchanger, and this is a space which divides the hot water from the heating agent. On the left hand side you see it's colored with red. The heating agent is circulating, and on the right hand side, which is still blue, it is the hot water which will start to heat. So if your system don't have enough capacity, usually the two-way valve, which is on the left hand side on the top, on the right hand side of the pump, will divert the heating agent towards the plate heat exchanger, so it gives it a lot of power to heat the domestic hot water. When the domestic hot water buffer will be satisfied, then that two-way valve will redirect the flow back into these heat exchangers. If you have a boiler with a lot of capacity, then this will not be necessary. To divert the heating agent won't be necessary unless the room temperature will be satisfied, and then you have to stop the radiators. But in this case, let's say our boiler doesn't have enough capacity to heat the rooms while heating the hot water, domestic hot water, sorry. And because of this, the entire heating agent, it is diverted to the plate heat exchanger. The hot water tank will be progressively heated up, and the process will continue until the thermostat, which is taking the temperature from the hot water tank, will be satisfied. Then the process will stop. Each system have pro and cons. So while on this system you will not have instant hot water, you have to wait to heat it up. After the system heats up and you have this reserve of energy onto this hot water tank, if someone want to have shower, the heating system will not be necessarily turned off, because you have enough energy to have a shower without heating the water. Now I want you to pay attention. Look, this system is heating the water indirectly. So you're using a plate heat exchanger. The heating agent goes on a part of the plate heat exchanger, and the domestic hot water go on the other side. So they exchange the temperature on that plate heat exchanger. Now I want you to look to another type of system. If you'll observe in this situation, the heat, it is exchanged inside the tank, so inside the cylinder. The heating agent from the boiler passes by that red coil inside the heat exchanger, inside the cylinder, and the domestic hot water, which is blue, comes inside the cylinder. It's exchanged the heat with that coil, is heating up, and on the top is going red. I'm going to make two images now, so you will see very clearly the difference between these heat exchangers. Now you can see onto the left hand side, the heat is exchanged inside the cylinder. It's very easy observable that you have a calorifier inside the cylinder where the domestic hot water it is heated. Looking to the right hand side, you will see that you have a heating like a heat plate, and this plate heat exchangers allows the domestic water to pass by, and also allows the heating agent to pass by. So the heat exchange will happen outside the cylinder. That cylinder doesn't have inside any coil, absolutely anything. So this is the difference between these two type of system. Just watch and try to understand. It is easy. There are different application for these units, and probably I will explain more in other videos about this. You have another choice. You can go with an instant heating like the Combi boilers. What you'll see here, you have the 3 heat exchangers on the top, you have the 2-way valve, and also you have the plate heat exchanger. But this boiler should be strong enough to heat the water instantly. So the heating agent, which goes out from the boilers through the pump into the 2-way valve, directed in the plate heat exchanger, which you will see on the right hand side to the bottom, will have the capability to heat the domestic hot water instantly. What you'll see on the right hand side towards the middle, that's a tap, and anytime I'm opening the tap, the boiler will be instructed to turn the heat exchanger on, and the heat exchanger will hit, the heating agent will be directed into this plate heat exchanger, where the hot water will be instantly heating for usage. I will show you more in detail how these things works, but as I said, all systems have pro and cons. So if you remember, at one point I said that when you'll open the hot water, then you'll see the pump, it is activated and the boiler is preparing to run. Now guys, you really have to understand that this process should happen very fast. This is an instant heating boiler, and you don't want to wait 5 hours near the tap until the water gets very hot. But I want you to know, you will not see any part of the control here or the control philosophy. I will explain this in other videos. However, you have to know that anytime you'll open the hot water, there will be some little devices which will instruct the boilers to run. The boiler will start and will heat very fast, the plate heat exchanger, and then the domestic hot water will be heated extremely rapid. What you have to understand, that anytime you'll open the domestic hot water on this situation, you'll have a diverter valve. Like the 3-way valve you'll see there. There are many type of valve. I'll just give you an example because for me it's more important for you to understand the principle. And there's a lot of diverter valves and a lot of strategy to enable the boiler. You can have a hydraulic system which pushes micro switches. You can have flow magnetic switches, and there's all sort of things. They have to be studied individually, and I will dedicate full video for these controls. But now what is important for you to understand, anytime you open the domestic hot water, the entire flow will be redirected to the plate heat exchanger, and then the heating agent will not go through the radiators. And this is it. Now guys, you see all this like plate heat exchanger, the pump, the 3-way valve outside the boiler. I know they are inside the boiler technically, but I didn't want to put them inside the boiler. For me, it was more important that you'll understand how the system works and you can visualize how the flow goes. Now I'm going to put everything inside the boiler, and on the next video I will explain more how this you will see the same thing like you see in this video, only I want to bring the pump, the diverter, and the plate heat exchanger inside the boiler. That becomes a little bit messy, but in the end you will understand. Like I said, when you see everything inside the boiler, things a little bit different. This is a very basic small installation. If you'll have a look into it, you have 2 sinks, a shower, and 7 radiators. So for the boilers to be initiated, the pump must run, and you will see here the heating agent way. Now only the heating it is enabled. If your heating agent is not circulating through the system, the flame will overheat the heat exchanger inside the boiler, and then the protective device will be activated. As you know, you have a thermostat which controls the heater temperature, and you have another thermostat which controls the temperature that way, so the boiler will not overheat. That's an overheat protection device. This is very bad. When you have this kind of situation, the heater will overheat. Obviously the system will stop on fault condition, but the entire boiler will be heated inside because the temperature will reach 100 degrees. You have this heat inertia, sometimes it is more. You'll hear inside the boilers kind of knocks, and probably you'll have a little bit of steam, the pressure will be increased. And another side effect for this is that pump will run crazy, and the pump will overheat itself because water will not circulate to the pump. So you'll have a high temperature inside the boilers, the pump will be red hot, but the boiler will stop on safety overheat. Make sure you will never override the protection of the overheat, otherwise very bad things will happen. I think this is for today. It is Saturday. I waste all my day playing on my computer. On next video I will explain to you how to make a difference between a boiler fault, or if the heating agent is not correctly circulated or the installation is not correctly sized. As you will see, we have 7 radiators. The last one and number 3 and 4 are not properly heated, so you cannot assume that you have a problem with the heating agent circulation. In this case, you have a blocked thermostatic valves, or maybe the valve is blocked, or maybe the radiator is clogged. Many people do not clean the installation inside. They're not flushing the installation. They think this is a joke. But a lot of debris and sediment will sit on the pipes, restricting the flow, because the pipe diameter will shrink more and more, and it will reach the point where you will not have enough circulation, and then the boiler will overheat, the radiators will be clogged with dirt, and you will waste more money on energy. See you next time. Cheers. By the way, I have a video in which I explain how the contactor works. Guys, if you understand the difference between control circuit and a power circuit, you'll be capable to investigate the boiler printed circuit boards. The contactor shouldn't be big like this. There's some small relays, but they mostly work on the same principle, unless they SSR, which means they solid state relays. I'm going to speak about this in another video, but if you look through my other videos, I already explained how the contactor works, and if you want to integrate this on wonderful thermostats or a programmable logic control or building management control, just watch my video and understand how to wire this into this building management control. You don't have to know software, but what you have to know, it is boilers control philosophy, heating control philosophy, and a little bit of wiring, so you can give a right diagnostic to a boiler when you go to people's homes. I will go a little bit deeper into the control, and this is it. And now it's really time for me to go, because as I said, I waste all my Saturday playing with this. I don't make any money. I don't give a rat. One day we'll all die. So yeah, let other people down the world. I just want to enjoy a little bit. So this is it. Bye.